Good afternoon. It's 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, and you're tuned in to Say a Word About This. I know I haven't been with you in a couple of weeks. We're back from a vacation and wanting to finish the series, Sex in the Bible. This is Dr. Dew, the prophetic healer. We're doing a simulcast today, and in this simulcast, we're actually taping the YouTube video as well as we are live on the World Wide Web with Blog Talk Radio. So let us just share some things. I want to also acknowledge those of you who are remembering, as I am, this month. This month is the month to celebrate and to acknowledge domestic violence awareness. Last year, when I was doing a little different program, I think we were doing the program on a Thursday night. For 5 Thursdays last year, we talked about domestic violence. And unfortunately, things haven't changed. We have just as much, if not more, in the land. And so those of you on YouTube, if you would like to go back to the archives and listen to those programs in Blog Talk Radio, simply go to Blog Talk Radio, all one word, dash com, and then /dr dash due. So that's blogtalkradio.com /dr dash due. And kind of go through our archives if you like, and you'll hear various programs on domestic violence. It's really a very unfortunate thing that some men and some women feel as though they have to abuse someone either verbally or physically or both, and any other kind of abuse they can figure out to someone else. How that makes them feel better, I guess, or makes them feel more important, or makes them feel more worth, or I'm just not sure what's crossed up in their head. I know that more than likely they've come from an abusive home and they saw their father, they saw their mother, or both that doing abuse, or substance abuse, that's an abuse, with drugs and what have you. There's so many possibilities of ways to not only abuse oneself, but to abuse others. And so this month that we acknowledge as Domestic Violence Awareness Month is a time when I would greatly encourage you to talk to your friends and talk to different ones, and particularly if you see something that isn't right in your community, in your neighborhood, in your apartment complex. You see somebody with a black eye, or you see somebody walking around with a broken arm, every however long it took the arm to heal, and a few months later the arm's broke, or you got kids that look like what. You need to drop the dime, the proverbial dime, as it were, or call the adult protection services for the child or for the adult, or call someone if you know their parent, know the parents, but the key now, don't put yourself in harm's way when you are reporting this abuse. Now I know this is a difficult time, but we've started it in the middle of the day as a way for people who are part of Joy Christian Center to receive the Word, because we're going to get into the Word today, and we're going to go into deep water right away. We're going right into the book of Romans and First Corinthians, carrying on from where we left off a couple of weeks ago. But we, you know, have to continue, and this is just a good time. And so those of you that are there in the chat room or on the line or listening in the archives, understand, or even you YouTubers, hey, you're out there, and each one of us has I believe, a responsibility to look out, number one, for ourselves, but we are our brother's keeper. We are our sister's keeper. And if you see something that isn't just right, then do something about it. Don't go and say, you know, when the funeral shows up, oh, I should have called, you know, I should have done something. I should have, you know, don't be a second guesser. Don't be someone waiting for someone else to do it, saying, well, you know, they'll get it done. You deal with it. Because remember, 1 in 4 females, these are the statistics that I believe are not very accurate, but it's all we have based on what has been reported. I believe the numbers are much higher, but we'll go with what we have. 1 in 4, so every 4th female has been abused some way, some abuse or some trauma sexually or what have you. And the number for men is 1 in 6. I mean, every 6th man. Now, that's not very far behind. And I just really believe that the numbers are much greater, and particularly for men, because men carry that whole thing of more than women, this macho. I'm a macho man, you know. And so because of that image, the tough guy, men don't want to admit they cry. They don't want to admit that they have been abused. They don't admit that they've been bullied. They don't admit that they have been whacked on the job, what have you. But I'm here to tell you, I was abused on my job as a corporate controller in a Fortune 100 company. And, you know, I didn't do anything about it, so I can talk about it. You know, I didn't sue them, didn't carry forward. My boss set it up so that in a meeting that she had at her home, so that we all got there, and she had everybody else to leave and asked me to stay behind. And in staying behind, her whole notion was to get me in bed with her, to the point of basically trying to rape me, trying to take it. She was that hard up, pretty sad. So no, it happened, and hey, I can't do anything about it now. Waited too long, but at least I can talk about it. Tell you, yeah, I'm a man, and I will kick some butt, you know, and I don't like mess, and I will deal with you, okay? But I'm gonna now deal with issues. I have an issue. I think I have an article in my new book, Teddy Bear Stolen Innocence. If you don't have a copy yet, which I know you don't because I haven't seen the order come in, go to the website, get yourself a copy of Teddy Bear Stolen Innocence. The website is simple, really easy. IncestInBlackAmerica.com. IncestInBlack America.com. In the new book, I think I have a little bit there where my first wife, when I had made the decision to do what was right in the sight of the man upstairs and myself, and I told that to this wife. I had moved back to my house for a moment, trying to, get things in order, doing what was right. She comes, and she was in her own bedroom. I was in the guest room, where I belong, because I was a guest at this point in time. She comes in, tries to get some. So, hey, women have the proclivity to go after men that they perceive to be weak, they perceive to be, easy, and try to take advantage of. And yes, I'm not one who's going to jump up at the first drop of the hat and want to kick your butt. But let me tell you, don't get me angry. So, you know, that she found out when I was basically escorting her out of my guest bedroom. And we can give you stories. Hey, you've heard stories. If you go to your paper, depending on the community you're in, they either put it on it'll be on the front page or it'll be in the inside, depending on if they like to bury the news and not talk about relative issues. But this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so we know that situations are going on all over the country, and they have been. And I think I posted on my drdew.com just a few weeks ago a very prominent baseball player. I don't know if he's going to be in the Hall of Fame or not, but he was recently with a major team. I think he retired. Was in the news for slapping his wife, just slapping her. I mean, what is going on? Why can't people keep their hands to themselves? And so we have example after example after example. Matter of fact, what I've done is I put up there. So since we're doing this simulcast, to just share, even the Justice Department posted today a acknowledgement from September the 30th all the way through October the 31st, to acknowledge the National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So, they're taking the time to acknowledge. And then we have different ones. We have the law that I posted in my blog a couple of days ago in the city of, I think it's Topeka, Kansas. Now, this ought to really get some people concerned. They're in the process of basically repealing, hear me, repealing any laws that relate to domestic violence and not even dealing with those issues, because here it is, they don't have enough help, they don't have enough money, they are having some issues of their own. And so as a result of them repealing it, it's, I don't know, and the city council voted 7-3 to repeal the local law that makes domestic violence a crime. Decriminalizing domestic violence has been deemed a cost-cutting, listen to this, cost-cutting measure, as the city council and district attorney have both been unwilling to foot the bill to prosecute abuse cases. Several victims of domestic violence spoke against the proposal. It's your responsibility, they said, to protect the people, and you're failing. Obviously, they don't care. Obviously, we are a country driven by greed, and because money drives the country, and they can't, in this case, get enough money in the to their particular coffers for that given city, they have repealed. They have taken it upon themselves to repeal the law. Now, that's just one case. We'll see how long this lasts. We'll see if the Justice Department, the federal Justice Department, gets involved. But it would not surprise me